Dear past Veronica, I know you think you have it all down, but you don't. You definitely don't. In a couple years, you're going to start making some financial choices that you'll really come to regret. Let's start with who I am and where I am in life. I'm 30 and I'm living in New York City with my husband, our 2 kids, and our dog. You always wanted a penthouse apartment, but that didn't really pan out. Turns out life in fashion design is much harder than you thought. You really need to stay responsible, kid. No more late nights and doing everything at 5 o'clock the morning before. First off, sort out your wants and needs. You don't need that 6-foot-tall replica of the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, I know it's made out of matchsticks and it adds that perfect boho accent to your apartment, but you really don't need it. It's not worth $300,000. It's a ripoff. You can put that money towards groceries. Groceries are a need, Veronica. You may think you can get through college on ramen noodles, but you can't. Make groceries a priority, please. Also, you have to pay rent. That's an absolute necessity, not a choice. Just trust me. You don't want to have to find that out the hard way. Now that that's over with, let's talk about your education. College is more expensive than you ever imagined. There's no way you can pay it off in one shot, so take out a loan as soon as you can. But once you do, here's the thing. It's okay to take out loans, but the funny thing about loans is you have to pay them back. That's not an option either. I learned that the hard way. If you don't pay off your loans when you can, the interest will build up so fast your head will spin. Do us both a favor and pay them off little by little. You're going to have to get out of your habit of procrastinating if you want to avoid making the mistakes that I've made. One last thing. We learned about SMART goals in high school, so you better use them. Remember, your goals should be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Spoiler alert, in a couple of years, you're going to get the idea to save up money for a backpacking trip to Europe instead of finishing your senior year of college. I'm going to save you a lot of stress and money and tell you right now that it's a horrible idea. Yeah, it's specific and pretty measurable, but is it really attainable or realistic? No. And it sure isn't timely at all. Make smarter goals, and you won't end up scrambling to make ends meet. And you'll be much more successful, I promise. Dear past Veronica. Well, I guess you really don't learn, do you? 20 years have passed, and you're still making financial mistakes. We had to move out of our apartment last year. New York is just so expensive. Now we're living in an even tinier apartment in some rundown little town in Connecticut that doesn't even have a Starbucks. How pathetic is that? The kids moved out and the dog died, so it's just me and my husband now. Be careful who you marry, Veronica, because you are going to be stuck with them forever. Anyway, here's what I've learned until now. Look, I know everyone says to pick a job that you love, not one that pays well, but here's the truth. You are not financially ready to pick a job that you love. At all. Pick a job that pays well, at least until you pay off those student loans, or it'll mess you up for the rest of your life. There will be weeks when your kids are buying the groceries with their babysitting money. It's not good. And don't be afraid to work overtime every now and then. Sure, you'll be exhausted, but you'll earn 1.5 as much as your normal pay for the extra hours, which is so worth it. Focus on earning a steady income in a financially stable job, and then once you've paid your loans back and you've saved enough, you can start exploring other options. Now, along with your job, you have to think about taxes. Pay your taxes on time. I cannot stress that enough. Believe me when I tell you that very bad things will happen if you don't. Bad things like paying fees higher than you can imagine and losing your car that you spent every last cent on. It might not sound so bad to you, but a car's a car, right? But trust me, losing that car is going to be so awful. You can avoid it so easily, too. Just keep your tax forms organized and file them on time. Make a system and stick to it. I promise it will make your life so much easier and save you so much trouble. One of the things I always regretted was not researching checking and savings accounts before I opened one. You really have to think about your financial situation, which is pretty bad, and your needs, and then do some research to find out what type of account is right for you. I suggest you open a CD, a certificate of deposit, because you will earn a lot of interest on your deposit. You're going to need that money in the long run. Also, you can't withdraw money from a CD before it matures, which will prevent the impulse spending that's going to become a huge problem for you. Have fun. You also need to worry about budgeting. Take some money out of your paycheck as soon as you can and put it in your savings account. That's called paying yourself first, and it's going to be a lifesaver. Then pay for your needs. If you pay for your wants first, you're going to end up in a lot of trouble. Here's some advice. Don't buy makeup when you can't put food on the table. You can't eat makeup. Trust me. I know. You should write out everything you will need to buy in a month and subtract the cost of your needs out of your paycheck to see about how much extra spending money you're going to have. Sounds smart, doesn't it? Yeah, lots of trial and error has brought me this far. You'll figure it out, don't worry. Just don't do what I did, or what you did, I guess. Dear past Veronica. Well, here you are. 50 years later, and, well, I guess you haven't died yet. That's pretty good, considering your situation. And you look fantastic. Amazing things are gonna happen in the makeup industry in the next 50 years. You're gonna freak out. My husband died last year, which is pretty sad, I guess. I mean, he ended up spending all our much-needed money on booze, so one less thing to worry about. Oh, also, my oldest son is in jail. I'm not even gonna bother telling you what for. You'll find out eventually. But now with them out of the picture and your daughter living in some Amish community, your life is impossible. You messed up your credit reputation so bad. Seriously, so bad. Not paying your bill on time, charging insane amounts all at once, and applying for too much credit at once drove your credit score into the ground. Please pay your bills on time. Please. And don't just pay the minimum each month either, or you'll never get ahead of the interest rate. Pay as much as your budget and your income will allow. Keep all your accounts in one name, and be responsible with what you buy. Spending too much all at once will seriously hurt you. Your shopping spree days are over. Next, buy insurance. Do it. I know you think you're invincible right now, but you are so not. On your 60th birthday, your car is going to get hit by lightning, and you're going to have to pay out of pocket. And it's going to be terrible. And then the next year, when you fall and break your hip, you're going to have to pay for that too. And when your husband dies, you'll have nothing and nowhere to go because neither of you thought to look into life insurance. That's a stupid move, by the way. Please buy life insurance. Finally, look into your rights as a consumer. Not trying to stay informed or compare possible products before buying is going to bring you down hard. Companies are out to get you. You don't need some name brand toilet paper. In fact, I'm going to save you some trouble and let you know that the store brand is much softer. You're welcome. Be a smart buyer and don't let scams and marketing ploys fool you. You're not going to be in any position to waste any money, believe me. I hope you'll listen to what I've told you. I've tried my best to steer you away from making the terrible choices that I've made. Now all I can do is hope that you smarten up and try a little harder to be financially literate. Bye.